Well, as it turns out, driving and YouTubing is A, not safe, and very just not easy to do for an ADHD bloke like myself. So we're gonna go into the studio and we're gonna math this out. I'm gonna tell you how we save 50% off the price of the Audi e-tron GT. Forget my own car. Sorry. I've always been a car guy.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
It's been one of my really big vices, from being broke and like not being able to afford it to like kind of being able to afford it to now definitely being able to afford it. No matter what stage in life I've ever been in, cars have been something that I've always really loved. And this has always been a tough passion to have, A, because you can't really afford the car hobby, but B, because most of the financial literacy and teachings and philosophies and point of views out in the world are that it's stupid to buy a car. Like, it's stupid to buy a new car. It's stupid to spend money on any kind of car in general. And I've always felt kind of guilty or shameful for spending money on vehicles when, the most of the world tells you it's like a depreciating asset and it's literally like making you broker by owning it. And you know what? Honestly, I get it. And to some degree, I sort of agree that if you follow the conventional wisdom, buying a brand new car is kind of stupid.
I gotta call you stupid. Or are you just so dumb? You're stupid.
Stupid.
Car payments. Stupid on steroids. Come on, people.
They always say that the moment you drive a vehicle off the lot, it's already worth less. And I did a little bit of research on this, and on average, a car loses 20 to 30% of its value in the first year of owning it. So to math this up for you a bit, if you spend $50,000 on a brand new car, in the first year, you can expect it to depreciate between $10,000 and $15,000, which is pretty significant. You buy a $50,000, non-asset, and then 1 year from now, it's now worth $35,000. And yeah, if you just think about that from an investment standpoint, why on earth would you put money into a vehicle that's going to depreciate over real estate that's going to cash flow and appreciate over time? So all to say, I can't afford a car, and if you're watching this right now, then you probably already know that I bought an Audi e-tron GT Quattro. And if you look at the price tag, it probably makes you think, Rob, you're stupid, pal. Why would you spend that kind of money? But stick around until the very end of this video, and I think it's going to make a lot more sense to you because I actually ended up snagging this car for about 50% off a sticker price. But we will get to that, my little ham sandwiches, in a second. The Rob built ham sandwiches. You don't like it? No, he doesn't like it. That's fine. But we will get to that in a second. My little tomato soups. Nope, still no. All right, so before we get into this, I do want to state this is not a flex, all right? Yeah, I almost didn't make this video, if I'm being 100% honest. I don't really like including cars in my marketing, I really do hate whenever people are like, hey, do you want to make passive income while owning 100 Airbnb units? Do you want to drive this Rolls Royce? Then sign up for my free training and I'm going to show you how you can do it. Yeah, that's kind of the perception I get from people that are always flaunting their cars and stuff. So just know that me making this video, I'm not trying to brag about it. I'm just trying to show you why I bought it and how the tax concepts and strategies might be able to apply to your business or entrepreneurial journey. So with that, obviously, I'm going to be pretty transparent in this video. So if you wouldn't mind hitting that little like button down there in the name of transparency, then I would really appreciate it. So now I want to talk about why I bought the car. There's two really main reasons here. And the first reason is a little bit more on the apologetic side. And reason one is because I fucking earned it. I did. I earned to literally, if I want to buy a Ford Raptor or a Ferrari or whatever it is, I don't know, I'm probably not going to ever own a Ferrari, but if I want to buy a vehicle that I feel fits my budget and, lifestyle, whatever, I earned it because for the past 2 years, I have worked my ass off.
I've been working my ass off!
My mission is to help as many people start an Airbnb business as possible, and I just try to do good. I try to put good out into the world, and because of that, I feel like, yes, I've worked hard, I've made money, so why the hell not? Why not? More traditional lines of thinking say, yeah, it's stupid.
Somebody ought to smack you!
But also, my non-traditional millennial mindset here is that life is short, man. And yes, having money is great and being able to save it and invest it is great. Check all the boxes there. I totally get it. I agree with that. And for the most part, I live out that philosophy. But on the other side of it, my more rebellious side is that, yeah, life is short. You don't know how much longer you don't know how much longer we have on the earth. And what's the point of having money if you can't spend it? That's what's crazy to me. I do see people on YouTube brag about how they have all this money and then they only spend $2,000 a month. And I'm just okay, that sounds awful. So reason one, I fucking earned it. I don't care. Say what you will. Troll me in the comments. It's really fine. Hey, have you ever heard of a mute button? It's kind of this new thing that Apple put on laptops. Reason number 2 why I bought an Audi e-tron GT is that it's a tax write-off. I made $2 million last year, and this is an excuse to get a write-off and get something that I really want and have the best of both worlds. And so now let's get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of this vehicle and why I chose it. I chose it because I'm a huge fan of the Porsche Taycan. I love those cars, and honestly I did want one of those, but supply was super limited, and also I didn't want Ryan Pineda to think that I was copying him. And also it was very important for me to go 100% electric. Everyone's complaining about gas prices, $5 gas prices in California, oh, $6 gas prices. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do with my V20 truck? And guess what? I don't have to pay for gas anymore. And let me tell you, it brings me great joy to rub that in everybody's face. So after doing a little bit of research, I actually found out that the Audi e-tron GT is actually the same base, like the same chassis base, the same kind of platform as the Porsche Taycan. So actually looking at it, they're almost the same vehicle.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
They look different, obviously, but the platforms are the same, and I was actually able to find one of those in stock. Literally every Taycan that I found was like gone like that. Like I called everywhere and finally found one randomly, and the guy was like, dude, it just got in, get here. I was like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. And as soon as I got in my car, he was like, hey man, I'm so sorry. Someone's already in the office buying it. And I was like, it hasn't even been 2 minutes. And the end of the year was quickly approaching, so I decided to just give up the Taycan dream and just go with the e-tron GT because it's still pretty damn spectacular, so not really a huge deal. So the e-tron GT MSRP was actually $123,000, but at the dealership, it was marked up to $136,000 because dealerships are doing this right now. Like all dealerships are marking up their cars. Like for the first time, literally in history, dealerships have some little amount of leverage and they just want to freaking like show any amount of dominance that they can.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh.
And so I actually ended up buying the Audi e-tron, which is a much more modest price tag of $75,000. And I drove it home that night, and I actually had a bit of a customer service issue with the sales manager that I was working with, and I voiced my complaint, and that night the sales general manager called me and said, hey, how can I make this right? Well, you know, I was interested in that e-tron GT, but you guys marked it up $13,000, which is really freaking lame. Well, how about this? I'll knock off the 13 grand and you can have it for $123,000. Oh man, he called my bluff. So I like went in and I like talked to my wife and I was like, I don't know, babe. I mean, it's kind of the deal of a lifetime. I don't know. You think I should get it? And she's like, I don't care. Just get it. If you really want to get it. And I was like, I don't know. And then I slept on it and I woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get it. And I did. And I went in and I bought it for $123,000. So I ended up financing this vehicle over 66 months at 3.49%. And that comes out to $2,212.07 every single month. Now I actually could have gone with a 48 to 60 month term, and I think that would have been like 2.75% interest. And I really did battle this one for a whole 20 minutes at the dealership. They're like, come on, man, just choose one. I'm like, oh, but that 0.49% is gonna make or break my financial situation. And then I thought, you know what, for me, I'd rather pay as little as I can every single month, hang on to that extra principal that I would have paid, and then just invest it into more Airbnbs or other real estate. Which, by the way, I think this is a pretty appropriate time to plug HostCamp. If you're interested in starting an Airbnb business and learning everything you need to know to build it up from the ground up, go to hostcamp.com or hit that link down in the description below and book a call with my team and see if it's a right fit for you. So yeah, 66 months, 3.49%, about $2,200 every single month. That's what it cost me to own my Audi e-tron GT. Now, again, on the surface, the price of this vehicle is but as someone that has really graduated in income status, I have just really learned the importance of tax strategy and tax planning. I've been working with TrueBooks, that's my personal accounting firm, and I really like them. And actually, if you want to book a call with them, tell me you're from the Rob Mob. I'll leave a link down in the description below. They will also help you tax plan and strategize, because when you go up from making $110,000 a year to $2 million a year, you're kind of like struggling because you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna pay so much money in taxes. And really the proper tax strategy and planning can just help you save literally like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So yeah, I'm gonna let TrueBooks take the liability for this vehicle, and I'm just gonna pop my CPA right there. And you know, he can chime in if anything I say is incorrect, because I am not here to offer any tax advice at all. Remember, this is not tax or financial advice. I'm just a goofy YouTuber. Now let's cut to the cool part and jump into the financials of this vehicle, because it started making a lot of sense for my financial journey very quickly. So because this is an all-electric vehicle, I actually qualified for 2 specific tax credits. Texas has a $2,500 tax credit for electric vehicles, and there is a federal tax credit of $7,500 that I'm eligible for as well, because the vehicle is all electric. So add those together and you got $10,000 that is just sliced off of my total tax bill. Right, Matt?
So partially correct. Texas actually is giving a $2,500 rebate towards this vehicle. And yes, on a federal level, you can get a $7,500 tax credit, which is a slash off of your overall tax bill.
All right, good. Shh, little buddy. But here's the thing, I can actually write off the entire car because it's gonna be a business vehicle. I'm gonna be using it for business use using a little thing called bonus depreciation. Now, usually whenever you're writing off your car, you're only able to write off a little bit at a time. Oh, I just pulled a Caleb. Damn it! Now, usually whenever you write off your car, you're only able to write off a portion of it over 5 to 7 years, something like that. Is that about right, Matt?
Yeah, so when you buy a large asset like a car or a building, you typically have to take a piece of the expense over so many years. Vehicles typically being 5 years. In this case, you're able to take the full deduction through either bonus depreciation or Section 179, but we'll get into that in a minute.
But thanks to bonus depreciation, I'm able to deduct the entire expense of my vehicle in the very first year. So again, I would encourage you to do your own research and talk to your own CPA because it's not tax advice, or you can set up a call with my friend Matt over here at TrueBooks, and I'll leave a link in the description down below for you to book a call with him. So diving in a little bit into the nuances of Section 179, again, this isn't tax advice, but effectively you can write off 100% of things like heavy machinery or vehicles for your business if you actually need them for your business, and you can do so if those things weigh over 6,000 pounds. Keep me honest here, Matt, that's true?
Yes, that is correct when it comes to vehicles. If you're looking to take the entire expense of a vehicle up front in the year in which you buy it, it has to be more than 6,000 pounds and be considered a heavy SUV. You can give it a quick Google and you'll see a list of what vehicles are available.
Okay, good. Just making sure. I don't want to get sued, man. I don't want to get sued. So when I was looking into the Audi e-tron GT, initially, I thought that I wasn't going to be able to write it off because as you can see here, the curb weight of the Audi e-tron GT is 5,060 pounds. And I was like, dang it, I'm like just short. However, it's not just the curb weight that applies. It's actually the gross vehicle weight rating. The Audi e-tron GT weighs 6,261 pounds, qualifying me for a 100% tax deduction of this vehicle. So now here's where it starts getting very nuanced and conceptual. So my tax rate is 37%. So that means if I didn't buy this vehicle and I just had $123,000 in my bank account that I didn't want to like maximize the taxes for, I would effectively be paying $45,510 on that $123,000 cash that I have sitting in my bank account. However, if I spend that money on a business expense that I actually need, then I'm effectively saving $45,000 on that business expense that I would ordinarily have to pay to taxes and Uncle Sam. So if you think about it that way, then I'm basically paying $77,490 for this vehicle. Now factor in my tax credits of $10,000. Now remember, it's not a tax deduction, it is a tax credit, and that is completely getting sliced from my overall tax bills. So basically, if I owe $100,000 in taxes and I had a $10,000 tax credit, I now owe $90,000 in taxes. Does that make sense?
Yep, that's exactly the math. So the good thing about a credit is it's a dollar for dollar reduction from your overall tax bill. It's not just a write-off or an expense. The only thing here that I will mention is the Texas piece of this is a $2,500 rebate. So it looks like they're gonna refund you for part of that purchase price of the vehicle. So while it's not going to be a tax credit, it is going to be a reduction in the purchase price of the vehicle.
So if you subtract the $10,000 that I'm getting in federal and state tax credits, then I'm effectively paying $67,490 for my Audi e-tron GT from a conceptual tax standpoint, which is 54% of the sticker price of this vehicle, which is not quite 50%, but it's close enough for the sake of the thumbnail and the title. Oh, you know what? Actually, I got $13,000 off of the original price of the vehicle. Remember, I said they knocked off the $13,000 markup. So if you factor in the $13,000 that I got off of the car, then yeah, I saved more than 50% on this car. Dang! That's legit. Let me math this out real fast. Give me a second. So when you factored all that in, I actually paid $54,490 for my Audi e-tron GT, which is 44%. I paid 44% on the original sticker price of my Audi GT. Wow, you know what? I get made fun of for being cheap and like finding the deals all the time, and I want to say that that part of me is dead, but I guess old boy still got it. I still am able to find a damn good deal. I paid 44% on my dream car, which is like really cool. So now that we ran through the finances of this vehicle, there are a couple sticking points that I wanted to leave you with, all right? So I'm still spending $123,000 on this vehicle. It's not just like, oh, I decided to buy a car and now just like, boom, out of thin air, like, oh, I just get a free car. No, not really. I'm still spending the money. It's like, yes, I'm saving in taxes, but I'm still incurring this huge debt to do so. And I still have to pay $2,212 every single month. The idea with this is, yes, if I'm gonna have to pay a crap ton in taxes, I would rather, instead of paying $45,000 to Uncle Sam, just go and buy things that I need or want and then get the tax savings as a result and get a giant discount for the things that I need and want for my business. So I'm still buying the car, I'm just getting a huge discount in the process. And really the discount isn't instant, right? Because I'm still paying that $2,200 every single month and I still paid $123,000 for the vehicle. The discount really comes off of my tax bill. So you really have to be able to see the long-term strategy and plan here, which is why I say that tax planning is super important and why you have to think of this from a conceptual level from a tax standpoint. Yeah, so if you deduct your entire vehicle and you decide, oh, hey, I saved all the money, now I'm gonna sell it and make all my money back and then I got the tax savings. No, you're gonna have to pay a really big tax and you're basically gonna have to pay some of those depreciation savings in some capacity next year, which is why a lot of rich people, like let's say Grant Cardone or like Elon Musk, whoever, they'll go out and they'll buy a yacht or a freaking private jet and then they will sell it and then the next year they will go and buy another one to replace the saving that they got the first time. So there's always like a little bit of a trick there. Maybe I'll get a little bit more into those tax strategies with my friend Matt here in another video. If that's something that interests you, if you like learning about like random tax loopholes, legal loopholes and all that kind of stuff, let me know. But that's the story. That's the story on why I bought my Audi e-tron GT. And that's why, you know, I would say it's not the stupidest purchase I've ever made, because at the end of the day, I didn't spend $123,000 on it. I spent like $50,000 to $70,000 on it or something. I mean, there's a more accurate number there, but I'd have to math it out and I'm tired. So thanks for watching. What do you think of this tax loophole? Is this something you've ever done? Did I miss anything? Are there any questions? Let me know down below. And again, remember, if you want to talk to my boy Matt here over at True Books, I'll leave a link in the description down below for you to book a call with their team. All right. See you guys on the next episode of Raw Bill. Thanks, bye. Thanks for supporting me, bye.
One thing I will mention here is if you are thinking of doing this strategy yourself and purchasing a vehicle for your business, make sure that if you're trying to do the same thing, that you take physical delivery of this vehicle prior to year end and implement it or place it within your business and use it in your business. If, let's say, you put a deposit down in December and don't receive the car until January, this strategy won't work to help you on your tax bill. You will have to take physical ownership of the vehicle prior to year end.